Scorpio Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. Today is Sunday, October the 11th, 2020. Coming back from taking a week off after the Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. Those were three awesome events. Hope you guys had a chance to check them out, either on Fight TV or on the live broadcast on Podbean. They're available now on the High Spots Network. Definitely check them out. Some of the best independent wrestling you are going to find anywhere on the planet. I got to say thank you to everybody who tuned in to the live broadcast. We had a bigger audience each night of the three nights, and also thank you to everybody who has checked out the replays since they've been uploaded to Podbean. They have been the highest downloaded episodes in their first week that we've ever had, and it's absolutely awesome. It seems like you guys are really liking the live play-by-play episodes. So I'm gonna see what I can do about maybe doing some more of that. Now, Warriors. I'm always going to consider Warrior as the home promotion for Catch, Hook, and Shoot, because Warrior and the CEO of Warrior, Steve Tortorello, are the ones that really gave us this shot as far as doing live play-by-play, and it seems like it's really catching on. You guys are really seeming to like it, so I'm gonna see what else I can get into. I mean, Chicago has some of the best independent wrestling in the world, between Warrior and Freelance and AAW and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna see about maybe doing the live broadcast a little bit more often, since it seems to be catching on so good. So again, thank you to everybody who checked out the live show and who's downloaded the replays of that since then. And as always, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. And I want to let everybody know that CHS is now on Amazon Music. So if you have an Echo device in your house, tell Alexa you want to hear the Catch, Hook, and Shoot podcast, and she will play it for you, because we are now on Amazon Music. So that's pretty cool. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. It's at catchhookshoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content once it gets uploaded. And make sure you check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot, as well as our other web store at catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com, where you can get this nice Chicago-themed t-shirt and hat that I'm wearing right now, for those of you that are watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. I also want to mention again, I mentioned this during the Warrior Stadium Series, but I wanted to again give a huge thank you to Cowboy Archie Coughlin and Wrestling Behind Ringside, as well as all the fans who voted for the WBR Hall of Fame. Catch, Hook, and Shoot was added to the WBR Hall of Fame this year. You can see the plaque right behind me if you're watching on the YouTube channel. It's right there next to my belt case in a nice little spot, so it's on camera here every week. And again, a big thank you to WBR and to all of the fans who voted for Catch, Hook, and Shoot to become a part of the WBR Hall of Fame. So with that, let's get right back into our groove here with our regularly scheduled content, starting it all off like we always do with the match of the week. So this week's match of the week comes from NXT TakeOver last Sunday, and it is the NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. These two guys beat the living crap out of each other throughout this whole match. Both guys ended up with injuries. Finn Balor with a broken jaw. and they left literally everything in the ring. Finn Balor did retain the championship, and it was just a fantastic match. It was a fantastic pay-per-view, really, from NXT. But at this point, we expect nothing less because I've said it many times. There has never been a bad takeover ever. So, but yeah, match of the week: Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, NXT Takeover. If you have not seen it already, go back and check it out. These guys, I mean, Kyle O'Reilly definitely deserved this spot, this chance to shine in a main event spot, because up till now he's really been more of a tag team specialist. him and Bobby Fish, as the tag team representatives of the Undisputed Era. But for those who hadn't seen Kyle O'Reilly pre NXT, if you hadn't seen his Ring of Honor stuff and stuff like that, he is a phenomenal wrestler. He is just almost untouchable in the ring, and he really proved that in this match with Finn Balor. And of course, what else can be said about Finn Balor that has been said already? Probably, not even probably, but one of the best in the world. So this was just a fantastic match between these two guys. Like I said, they beat the living hell out of each other. Both guys came out, ended up injured, but they put on one of the best matches that I've seen in a long time. So if you have not checked this match out yet, go back and check it out from NXT TakeOver last week, Balor versus O'Reilly. So moving on from there, let's get into my top 3 highlights of the week. And of course, I am talking about the 3 count. Up first on the 3 count, some more interesting stuff from NXT TakeOver. We saw a couple of returns. We saw the return of both Ember Moon and Toni Storm at the end of the women's championship match. Toni Storm showing up on the big screen saying she's back and she's going after the NXT women's title, and Ember Moon actually showing up in the arena. She is the one that has been hinted at in the little vignettes that we've been seeing the last few weeks. Rode in on her motorcycle, entered the arena, pulled off the helmet, and revealed herself to be Ember Moon. Which, very good to see Ember back. There was some question as to whether or not she would be back at all because of the injury that she had suffered. It was an Achilles injury, which can be, career ending for any athlete. Because if you're without an Achilles, you can't stand up, let alone do anything else. So, very good to see Ember Moon back. Ember Moon and Toni Storm both returning to NXT at TakeOver. Number 2 on the 3 count, Mustafa Ali has been revealed as the leader of Retribution. Now, they're kind of tying this into the Smackdown hacker promos that we saw months ago without really saying it. Mustafa Ali apparently is the leader of the Retribution stable. So there was mixed reaction to this online. I personally like it. I think it does tie into that hacker, those hacker promos very well, because that hacker was just kind of creating chaos within Smackdown. And then Ali got moved over to Raw. Those promos stopped. But now we have Retribution coming out and just causing actual chaos among everybody in the arena. So it makes sense that Ali is the one that is leading them. And third up on the 3 count this week, we've been seeing a lot of teases between AEW and New Japan. That's got a lot of people thinking and hoping, I'm sure, for some type of working relationship between the two companies. We saw Tanahashi actually make an appearance on Dynamite for Chris Jericho's 30th anniversary celebration, just, congratulating him, wishing him well, stuff like that. But then we saw a lot of teases back and forth on Twitter between AEW guys and New Japan guys, and, just kind of adding fuel to the fire. So, I'm one of those fans that's hoping there will eventually be a working relationship between these two companies. And I think one of the main things that's got people thinking this way is the CEO of New Japan being let go last month. Yeah, I believe it was last month, and because he was the one that was really against the partnership with AEW, but now that he is no longer in the picture, it kind of opens that door a little bit, that door that a lot of people said was closed for the potential working relationship with AEW and New Japan. I mean, we also saw, they made mention of Jon Moxley and Lance Archer's New Japan rivalry over the IWGP United States Championship. So, a lot of little things being put out there that's kind of, I guess, giving people hope. So hopefully, it's something that we'll be able to see in the future, because I think a working relationship between New Japan and AEW would be huge for everybody involved. So fingers crossed on this one. Getting into the news and rumors for the week, on Monday Night Raw, we are seeing the continuing saga of the Mysterio family and Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Really kind of playing up this angle between Buddy Murphy and Rey Mysterio's daughter, Aaliyah, whatever type of relationship is developing there. Aaliyah kind of taking up for Murphy, trying to protect him, trying to tell her family that he's not, he's not like Seth and things like that. So, and all of these, the people involved in this storyline were drafted from Raw to SmackDown during the SmackDown draft on Friday night, which I'll get into in a little bit here. So that storyline obviously is going to continue, just on SmackDown instead of Raw. Not really sure what the point of moving them to SmackDown from Raw was, but hey, we'll see where it's going to go. And then we found out that Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton will be going at it one more time at Hell in a Cell. We saw a hell of a match between Braun Strowman and Keith Lee. I mean, these two guys, again, just going at it and beating the hell out of each other. These two big bulls in the ring. And I definitely like to see, an extended program with these guys, because I think they complement each other very, very well. Then Kevin Owens called out The Fiend, but instead got Bray Wyatt on the Tron in the Firefly Funhouse, which pretty much only served as a distraction, because as Owens was leaving to go find Bray Wyatt in the back, he was attacked by Aleister Black. No big surprise there, so they're continuing that rivalry with Aleister Black. I'm not sure exactly how this is all going to work out. Are Aleister Black and The Fiend going to somehow be associated, or what's going on there? So we'll have to keep an eye out and see what's going on with that. Moving on to NXT, we found out that they are bringing back Halloween Havoc. And I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, Halloween Havoc was really WCW's signature pay-per-view. I mean, Starrcade was supposed to be like their WrestleMania, but Halloween Havoc was really the signature pay-per-view of WCW, and now NXT is bringing it back just as like a special event. It's taking place on the October 28th episode of the regular NXT show. It's not a takeover. It's not a pay-per-view. It's just a special, I guess, special event, during the regular show. Kind of the same thing that they did with the Great American Bash, and this, kind of the same thing that they do with Starrcade now. And I honestly kind of find it a bit disrespectful on WWE's part to, because these events, the Great American Bash, Starrcade, Halloween Havoc, these were marquee events for WCW and the NWA, if you go back a little bit further. And the WWE is using the names just as kind of a subtitle for either a house show or their normal television. So it is a bit disrespectful. But I honestly try to keep an open mind. I'm willing to give it a chance. It's being hosted by Shotzi Blackheart, which I think is a very good choice for a host for Halloween Havoc. So we'll see what happens. I already mentioned Finn Balor does have a broken jaw. We were supposed to get an update from him this week. A little bit of talk going around online about the NXT title possibly having a bit of a curse on it. Seems like, somebody wins the championship and they have to give it up. I mean, it's the same thing that just happened with Karrion Kross. Won the title and had to immediately vacate it because of a shoulder injury. And now Finn Balor just recently won the title and ends up with a broken jaw. Hopefully he doesn't have to vacate it, but I can't see him being cleared to wrestle with a broken jaw and potentially, his mouth wired shut or something like that. So, we'll have to see what's going to happen with the NXT Championship. Dexter Lumis made a comeback and defeated Austin Theory, who kind of just, threw out an open challenge, and Dexter Lumis came out and, just dominated him. So good to see Lumis back. Quite a few returns happening this week in WWE. Lumis been out for a few weeks since he was injured in the North American Championship tournament that they were having. But at the end of that match, Cameron Grimes did come out and attack Dexter Lumis, so it looks like that's going to be the next rivalry. We found out that that Adam Cole is also injured. Now, I'm not sure if this is storyline or legit, but they said he's got some broken ribs, and the story that they gave on the show is that that's as a result of the attack from Ridge Holland that happened at TakeOver after the NXT Championship match. At the end of that match, Undisputed Era came out and... Sorry, let me back up a little bit. At the end of that match, we had got a handshake between Balor and O'Reilly. Again, fantastic match. Go back and watch it. But then we saw Ridge Holland carrying Adam Cole in over his shoulder and just kind of dumping him onto the floor. And then we saw the other members of the Undisputed Era come out and just kind of wondering what happened and, what does Ridge Holland have to do with any of this? And so apparently Adam Cole has some broken ribs as a result of that attack. And then on NXT this week, we also saw Ridge Holland pick up a victory over Danny Burch and then beat down both Burch and his partner, Oney Lorcan. But in the course of that brawl after the match, looked like Holland suffered a knee injury. Now, Ridge Holland was on the outside of the ring, and Oney Lorcan did a dive over the top rope onto Holland. Holland caught him. But it looked like his knee buckled when he caught Lorcan, and he just collapsed and started grabbing his knee and screaming at the top of his lungs. So I'm not sure how bad of an injury it is, but he did have to be taken out on a stretcher. So hopefully we'll get an update on Ridge Holland and how long he's going to be out for. Saw some interesting stuff with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. They received a gift from Indy Hartwell, a new TV, to replace the one that was broken during their during their visit from Tegan Knox, and so Indy Hartwell replaced their television, and included with that was a video of Hartwell saving Candice LeRae several times during the number one contenders battle royal a couple weeks prior. So it looks like Indy Hartwell is going to be in some way or another aligned with the Garganos. Then we saw a pretty good women's match on NXT between Shotzi Blackheart and Xia Li. Shotzi did pick up the victory in that one. The interesting part of this, though, was after the match, Xia Li was sitting in the corner against the turnbuckles, and Boa came out and delivered a letter to Xia Li, and she looked, confused, concerned, something, and she left the ring and followed Boa to the back. So we'll keep an eye on that one, see where this is going to go. Possibly hinting at a new faction, maybe. Who knows? We'll see what's going on with Xia Li and Boa. Moving on to Smackdown, we had the first night of the WWE draft. Before we get into that, we found out that Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will face off again at Hell in a Cell in a Hell in a Cell match, but this is also an I Quit match. So, first of its kind, really, an I Quit match inside Hell in a Cell. And according to Roman, when Jey quits, there will be consequences after that. He wasn't real specific, so but I wouldn't expect. I'm not expecting Jey Uso to win this match, so I'm pretty sure we'll find out what those consequences are going to be coming up at Hell in a Cell in a couple of weeks. We also saw the return of the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, both coming back from injury, so good to see them back. And first time out, they picked up a victory over Nakamura and Cesaro and are the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And pretty much right after that victory, they were drafted to Raw. But Big E was not drafted with them. He was drafted by SmackDown. So the New Day has been split up, to the dismay of a lot of wrestling fans online. So I'm curious to see where they're going with this. I mean, I understand, everybody's been wanting to see a Big E singles push for a very long time, but there's no reason to split the team up like that. So I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. Now we are going to see the New Day one last time next week on SmackDown in a 6-man tag team match, kind of their farewell SmackDown match, taking on Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sheamus. So we'll see all 3 members of the New Day together for what conceivably could be the last time. Another return this week, Lars Sullivan returned on SmackDown and attacked Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle, who had just picked up a tag team victory over The Miz and Morrison. Lars Sullivan not seen for over a year with some knee issues, and I'm not going to get into the other controversy that's been going on with Sullivan, or that went on with Sullivan during his time away, but apparently he is back, and he will be part of the draft pool for Monday night, so it'll be interesting to see where he lands and what kind of storyline they put him into and with who. Then we had a SmackDown Women's title match, Bayley defending against Sasha Banks. Sasha was victorious, but it was by disqualification. Bayley got herself intentionally disqualified, so Sasha now is challenging Bayley to a rematch at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell. So, another women's Hell in a Cell match. I would assume that would be one of the main events for the pay-per-view for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And then there was another tag team that was split up as a result of the draft, and that was Heavy Machinery. Otis was drafted to SmackDown, and Tucker was drafted to Raw. I'm not a fan of this. I mean, WWE's tag team division, quite honestly, is the shits anyway, and they're splitting up legit tag teams for no real reason. I get Otis as Mr. Money in the Bank, but they could have gone a completely different direction with it and had him be the first person to cash in on a title other than the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship. I would have loved to have seen Otis be the first person to cash in for a tag team championship match or something like that. I mean, but, typically with WWE, tag team wrestling is an afterthought. The tag team titles are not a priority. Tag team wrestling in general is not a priority, and that's evident when you see stuff like this, when you see legitimate tag teams being split up for no real reason, and then you've got like the cut and paste type tag teams like Nakamura and Cesaro, who are or have been tag team champions. So not a big fan of that. But let's go through the first night of the draft here. Round 1, we saw Drew McIntyre drafted to Raw, which is where he started anyway. Roman Reigns is staying on SmackDown. Asuka is staying on Raw. Seth Rollins drafted from Raw to SmackDown, and the Hurt Business is staying on Raw. So, and this is, working the same way it did last time. For every 2 picks SmackDown gets, Raw gets 3, because of the, Raw's a 3-hour show, SmackDown's a 2-hour show. So that was round 1. Round 2, AJ Styles drafted from SmackDown back to Raw. Sasha Banks will be staying on SmackDown. Naomi drafted from SmackDown to Raw. A little bit of a surprise there. We haven't seen a whole lot of Naomi lately, so hopefully it'll kind of breathe some new life into Naomi, because she's one of the most talented women on the WWE roster, definitely the most athletic. So the fact that she's not on TV and not in a title picture or in any major storylines is a bit confounding, honestly. It's kind of a tragedy, because she is one of the best in-ring performers that they have. Then Bianca Belair drafted from Raw to SmackDown. Now with this particular draft, I would expect to see the Street Profits drafted to SmackDown on Monday. Simply because Bianca Belair, of course, married to Montez Ford, and WWE does have a reputation for trying to keep married couples together, which is good. Very good on WWE for doing that. So I would expect to see the Street Profits drafted to SmackDown this coming Monday, which would also kind of make sense since the SmackDown Tag Team Champions are now on Raw in the New Day, but we'll get to that later in the draft. So, I would that's my prediction. We're going to see the Street Profits drafted to SmackDown on Monday. Also in round 2, the Women's Tag Team Champions are staying on Raw. Not really doesn't matter, because the Women's Tag Team titles can go to any show. So, but I guess Either way, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are staying on Raw. Ricochet also staying on Raw. We're getting into round 3 here. Ricochet staying on Raw. Jey Uso staying on SmackDown. A little bit of a surprise with with Naomi moving over to Raw. I would have expected to see the Usos move to Raw as well, but not the case. So Jey Uso staying on SmackDown, Mandy Rose staying on Raw, Dominic and Rey Mysterio both drafted to SmackDown. I talked about that a little while ago. Seth Rollins has already, had previously been drafted, so they're just kind of moving the storyline from Raw to SmackDown completely. And then The Miz and John Morrison drafted from SmackDown to Raw. Getting into round 4, as I already talked about, the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods drafted from SmackDown to Raw, and they are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, so those titles go with them. Another reason I said I think we're going to see the Street Profits moving from Raw to SmackDown. Now, are they just going to kind of swap the belts? I don't know how that's going to work. If that does happen, if the Street Profits do move to SmackDown, are the New Day still going to be the SmackDown Tag Team Champions even though they're on Raw, or how's that going to work? But anyway, and again, Big E staying on SmackDown, so the New Day has been split up. Dana Brooke staying on Raw. Otis staying on SmackDown, as I already talked about. Angel Garza staying on Raw. And then there was a 5th round of drafts that happened on Smack Talk after SmackDown went off the air. Humberto Carrillo staying on Raw. Buddy Murphy moved from Raw to SmackDown, so that the entire Seth Rollins Mysterio storyline intact has moved from Raw to SmackDown. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. Drew Gulak moves from SmackDown to Raw. Kalisto staying on SmackDown, and Tucker moving from SmackDown to Raw. And I'm not at all optimistic about how Tucker is going to be used on Raw, if at all. I don't expect to see a lot of him on TV. This could be like the death knell for Tucker in WWE, but who knows? Maybe, everybody knows Vince McMahon likes his big guys. Tucker definitely a big guy, so maybe he'll kind of get repackaged and have a new life as a singles wrestler on Raw. You never know. I mean, it's possible. I'm not optimistic, but it's possible. And then we already talked a little bit about NXT TakeOver from last week. Damian Priest retained the North American title against Johnny Gargano. Kushida defeated Velveteen Dream in almost what I would call a squash match. I mean, Kushida just dominated Velveteen Dream. Santos Escobar retained the Cruiserweight title against Isaiah Swerve Scott. Io Shirai retained the Women's Championship against Candice LeRae, and that's where we saw the return of Toni Storm and Ember Moon. And, of course, that fantastic match between Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly was the main event for the NXT Championship. Moving along to AEW, we had the 30th anniversary celebration for Chris Jericho. A lot of video messages from some big time celebrities: Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss, Slash, Shaq, Hiroshi Tanahashi from New Japan, Lance Storm, Ultimo Dragon, all sending their well wishes to Chris Jericho on his 30th anniversary in the wrestling business. Cody was able to defeat Brody Lee for the TNT Championship in a dog collar match. This match was brutal. This was almost the match of the week. This one almost beat out Balor and O'Reilly, but I would definitely give this one honorable mention. So if you haven't seen this one, go back and check it out. You don't see dog collar matches a whole lot anymore. You've never seen them a whole lot, actually. The most memorable dog collar match, of course, was from the first Starrcade back in 1983 between Greg the Hammer Valentine and Roddy Piper. Greg Valentine was in the audience for this match, which was kind of cool. But Cody was able to pick up the victory and regain the TNT Championship. And it's been announced that there's going to be a number one contenders tournament for the number one contendership for the AEW World Championship. The finals of the tournament is going to take place at the Full Gear pay-per-view coming up in November. Now, 6 of the participants in the tournament have been announced so far. There's going to be a total of 8. The 6 that have been announced are Kenny Omega, Rey Fenix, Jungle Boy, Wardlow, Colt Cabana, and Hangman Page. These are pretty much the exact right guys that need to be in this tournament. Truthfully, I'm not 100% sure Colt Cabana should be in. Nothing against Colt. He's a Chicago guy. I love Colt Cabana. But I'm not sold 100% on him being in a tournament for the number one contender for the world championship. But, he's in it, so that's that. Now, my opinion as far as who the last two entrants in this tournament should be Scorpio Sky and Darby Allin. That's who I would put in to round out those 8 competitors for that tournament. And, like I said, I'm not 100% sold on Colt Cabana. I might have put MJF in there, although he did just have a championship opportunity. So, I don't know. But, the final 2 for me should be Scorpio and Darby Allin. Coming up next week is the first anniversary show for AEW Dynamite, and we're going to see, all of the championships being defended. Jon Moxley's going to be defending the world title against Lance Archer. Cody's going to be defending the TNT title against Darby Allin. I can't wait to see that match. These two guys have had some killer matches already, and it would not shock me at all to see Darby pick up the victory in this one and become the TNT champion. For the women's championship, Shida is going to be defending against Big Swole, and for the tag team titles, FTR is going to be defending against Best Friends. So it's going to be an awesome show for TNT Dynamite this coming week, so definitely don't want to miss that one. Some New Japan news for the first time in a while here. The G130 tournament is going on right now. And, of course, this, it's for those of you not familiar, it's a round-robin style tournament. It's a point-based tournament, and the 2 wrestlers with the most points from Block A and Block B face off in a final, and the winner gets a shot at the IWGP Championship. Now, in this case, I'm not sure if it's just the IWGP Heavyweight Championship or if it's the Intercontinental Championship as well, because both of those titles, currently held by Tetsuya Naito. So it'll be interesting to see, are both of those titles going to be up for grabs for the winner of the tournament or just the Heavyweight Championship. But the standings right now, there are 6 wrestlers right now sitting at the top with 10 points. In Block A, you've got Jay White, Kota Ibushi, Will Ospreay, and Kazuchika Okada. And in Block B, you've got Evil and Tetsuya Naito, the champion. Now, if Naito wins, he basically gets to pick his opponent. And that match traditionally takes place at the Tokyo Dome show on January 4th of Wrestle Kingdom. So, right now 6 guys sitting at the top with 10 points each. Still a few nights left to go in this tournament. So my pick for this one, honestly, I would like to see Kota Ibushi come out and get another shot at the heavyweight championship. Because, Ibushi probably is my favorite guy in New Japan. It's a toss-up between him and Okada for my favorite New Japan star. But, I'm picking Kota Ibushi. I don't know. That's what my gut's telling me. And then moving into some Ring of Honor news. Again, haven't had any of this in a little while. There is a tournament going on right now that we've been waiting on for a little while to crown a brand new Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling champion. Now, the Pure Championship has not been around for a very long time since it was unified with the world title by Bryan Danielson a number of years ago. So far there have been 8 matches to take place, and so we're down to the block semifinals already. On one side in Block A, you've got Lethal versus Finlay in the first semifinal, and Yehi versus Williams in the second semifinal. Now, Block A, I'm picking Jay Lethal to win Block A. In Block B, in the semis, you've got Gresham and Seidel in one semifinal and Woods and Black in the other semifinal. So for the Block B final, I'm picking Jonathan Gresham and PJ Black to be in the final, and I'm picking Gresham to win the block. So my prediction for the ROH Pure Championship for the final is going to be tag team partners, tag team champions going against each other, and Jay Lethal and Jonathan Gresham. So we'll see how that one plays out, but I'm definitely picking Jonathan Gresham to come out as the Pure Champion. Jonathan Gresham, I've said numerous times, the best pure wrestler in the world right now. And, you know, I've had the privilege of calling a couple of his matches at Warrior Wrestling, and it's amazing to watch him work in the ring. I mean, the man is an artist. That's the only way I can put it. It's awe-inspiring to watch what he can do in the ring. So that's my pick for the finals for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship tournament is Jonathan Gresham versus Jay Lethal. Getting into some Impact news, we saw this past week Jordynne Grace throw her name into the X Division Championship picture. She actually picked up a victory over Rohit Raju, thought she was the X Division champion in that open challenge match, but then Raju insisting after the match that it was not for the championship because the referee never held the belt over his head before the match started, so it was the decision wasn't reversed. Jordynne Grace was victorious, but it was deemed a non-title match. So this leads to a 6-way X Division Championship match coming up at Bound for Glory. Rohit Raju defending against Willie Mack, Trey Miguel, Chris Bay, TJP, and Jordynne Grace. That's a match I want to see because all 6 of those people, it's going to be a good match. I cannot wait for that one. Then we saw Eric Young attack Rich Swann yet again during Swann's rehab. Now, Swann does have a title match against Eric Young at Bound for Glory as well, and I'm looking for Rich Swann to take the Impact World Championship off of Eric Young. So that's pretty much it for the news and rumors for the week. So right now, I am going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is back with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G, and happy to be back with your Indie Cut. There's a lot of wrestling action to catch up on, but I'll keep it from October 1st with the return of AAW Pro Wrestling Redefined Alive #1. Yes, AAW is finally back, and I'm happy for that. They came from Marionette Park, Illinois, at their 115 Bourbon Street venue. So, limited crowds, still cool to see them back in action. They started off the night with the AAW Heritage title match between Hakeem Zayn, who's champion, who defeated Travis Titan. And we all know Travis Titan from our Warrior Wrestling show, so nice to see him get a chance in AAW. Next up was Drake Something defeating Kareem, who was Hakeem Zayn's bodyguard. Next up was Elena Black defeating Sky Blue. Nice to see them both in action. And my first time seeing a Sky Blue match fully, so it was kind of nice to see. Matthew Justice defeated Manders in a wild match where he drove Manders through a couple doors from a scissor lift for the win, and they did it correctly, unlike a certain A company. Then there's a 6-man tag with Top Flight of Airwolf and Angel Dorado, with Gringo Loco defeating Ace Perry, Stephen Wolf, and Trey Miguel. Then Hyan defeated Christy James. That was cool to see her in action. I'm a fan of Christy's. Then for the AAW tag titles, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton defeated champions, the best season in the world, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett, to become new champions. So I guess we will see Ace and Madman in Chicago more often while they held the titles. Then in the main event, it was for the AAW Heavyweight title, champion Mance Warner defeated Jay Christ. Good show all around. No match disappointed, so it was nice to see them back in action. Their next show is set for October 29th at the same venue, so if you're in town and want to get tickets, please hurry. I'm sure they're very limited. So then we move to October 3rd for Tokiyoshi Pro Wrestling of My Mind, with matches of the Up Girls, Miyu Watanabe and Raku, and Rika Tatsumi defeating Hyper Michio, Sina Sayonara, and Shoko Nakajima. Suzuki defeated Runo Neko. Yuka Sakazaki defeated Suzumi. Maki Ito and Mayu Yamashita defeated Kari Noa and Marika Kobashi. And for the Princess Tag number one contender match, Nodeka Tenma and Yuki Eno defeated Miyaharu Kiru and Pam Hirajuku. So their tag match should be set in the coming month, I believe. Yes, in November. Yes. Then we go to Stardom. Yokohama Cinderella with an attendance of 1,007. For the high-speed title, Azumi defeated Starlight Kid, who was champion, so Azumi retained. Then a surprise of Mina Shirakawa defeating Hanan. Mina last appeared in Tokyo Pro on September 21st. She won her final match, and she actually won her debut match, so congrats to her. Then we had Riho teaming with Saya Linda, defeating Natsu Sumiri and Yuna Manazi. Then Donna Del Mondo debuted Natsupoi, who used to be Natsumi Maki from Tokyo Pro, and she won her last match on September 21st as well. So she is now part of Stardom, I believe, since they renamed her and gave her a whole new gear and everything. So yeah, it was nice to see, and she defeated Death Yamasan. Go figured. Yeah. So then we had the SWA Undisputed World Women's Title match, which was vacant, and B. Priestley defeated Momo Watanabe to become champion. Then in a kind of a sad moment, in the losing unit must disband no disqualification tag match of Oda Tai, of Natsuko Tora, and Saki Kashima, defeating Tokyo Cyber Squad of Jungle Kiona and Konami, with the help of Konami turning on Jungle with a chair shot for the win. So Tokyo Cyber Squad is no more. Kind of can see why this happened due to Hana Kimura's passing. So Oda Tai gets one person stronger, and Tokyo Cyber Squad goes on to their own ways and probably forming different groups on their own. So sad to see them go, but I know kind of why, so it's okay. Then for the Goddess of Stardom title match of Queen's Quest with Saya Kimatani and Utami Hiroshita, who are champions, and they defeated Donna Del Mondo of Himeka and Maika. For the Wonder Earth Stardom title, champion Julia defeated Tam Nakano in an awesome match. Please check that out if you can. And then at the World of Stardom title match, champion Mayu Iwatani defeated Suri. That was also awesome as well. So a good night for Stardom all around, and happy to see some new blood in Stardom, you must say. Then we move back to the States for Black Label Pro TurboGrafx 16. The afternoon show was for the BLP heavyweight title. Champion Jake Something defeated Calvin Tankman. A really good match. And then Violence is Forever of Dominic Guarini and Kevin Koo, defeating Top Flight of Airwolf and Angel Dorado. And yet another good tag match. We move to the first round matches with AJ Gray, Ethan Page, Blake Christian, Isaiah Velasquez, Tom Lawler, who defeated Mike Bennett of all people, ACH, Effie, defeating Brian Myers, and in the final first round match for the Black Label Pro Midwest title, Alex Shelley defeated champion Kylie Ray to move on. So then we move to later in the night, in the semifinal four-way matches, Isaiah Velasquez defeated ACH, AJ Gray, and Blake Christian. And then the semifinal, it was Alex Shelley defeating Effie, Ethan Page, and Tom Lawler. Also on the card, it was Deanna Peralzo defeating Billy Starks. EC3, yes, EC3 defeated Travis Titan, so he got another big name to go against. For the IWTV Independent Wrestling title match, our friend Warhorse defeated Joshua Bishop. Trey Lamar defeated Kevin Blackwood. Then in the BLP tag title match, the besties in the world were champions there as well. Defeated to infinity and beyond of Cheech and Colin Delaney. In a scramble match, a very good professional wrestler defeated Aaron Williams, Alex Crowley, Elena Black, Graham Bell, and Megabyte Ronnie. Yes, Megabyte Ronnie even made it to Black Label Pro. Then in the final match, and also for the Midwest title, champion Alex Shelley defeated Isaiah Velasquez in an outstanding match. So check those out if you can. Highly recommend them all. Then on to October 4th, back in Stardom, with an attendance of 282. They really cut the audience for this show. Saya Linda defeated Hanan. Odatai of Konami and Saki Kashima defeated Riho and Starlight Kid. Tam Nakano defeated Mina Shirakawa. Odatai defeated B. Priestley and Natsuko Toro defeated Jungle Kiona and Mayu Iwatani. On a side note, Jungle Kiona has an injury to her knee, ankle, and shoulder. And this took more effect in this match as they beat her up with a chain quite a bit and chair shot. So it sounds like she will be taking time off. But Mayu extended her hand in friendship and an invite to her Stars group. So when she returns, maybe we'll see Jungle team up with Mayu even more. Then in the main event, it was an Elimination 8 women tag match of Queen's Quest with Azumi, Momo Watanabe, Saya Kamatani, and Utami Hayashita defeating Don Delmondo of Julia, Himeka, Makia, and Natsupoi. So, fun match. And seems like Stardom is up and running better than ever. We go to Sendai Girls Keep Burning, where they had a Sendai Girls tag title match where Team 2,000 kilograms of Chiharu Hashimoto and Yu defeating champions Dash Shisaki Sako and Hiro Matsumoto to become new champions. On to Oz Academy with an attendance of 220. Oz Academy #1 contender match was Koho Kabayashi and Kahiro Tsukiguchi defeating Hiragi Kurumi and Sabasha Kuragaki. And also in the semifinals, it was Miyumo Ozaki and Suro Ono defeating Aja Kong and Hiro Matsumoto. So Aja Kong actually lost a match. Pro Wrestling Noah Victory 2000 Day 6 took place. No real need to get into that other than in Block A, Koto Kiyomiya defeated Go Shiozaki to take a 7-6 point advantage. Pro Wrestling Zero Flame Festival Day 6 took place, where the NWA International Lightweight Tag Title match took place, with Raicho and Sugi defeating champions Billy Ken Kid and Hub to become new champions. Dragon Gate held 2 shows. World Women Pro Wrestling Diana also took place. You could check out those 3 matches on YouTube. Then there was a DDT Shinshu Sanshu Miyanashi 2020 event. Chris Brooks defeated Matt Pauley. Eruption defeated Hideki Okatani and Yuki Uno. Then All Out defeated Jirenretsu. Then on to Rev Pro Wrestling Epic Encounters 3. Now, I believe this is recorded due to the fact that Brie Priestley was in attendance on the day that she was in Stardom. And then Will Ospreay was in attendance when he was in Tokyo and New Japan the next day. So, they say it's live. I think it's tape. Who knows? But maybe travel restrictions are lighter between England and Japan. I don't know, but nonetheless, we had Robbie X defeating JJ Gale, Mad Kurt defeating Gideon Gray, Bobby Tyler with Zoe Lucas of Tokyo Cyber Squad defeating Jamie Hayter with B. Priestley in her corner. Then Aaliyah James defeated Zoe Lucas. Ricky Knight Jr. defeated Connor Mills. And for the Repro Undisputed British Heavyweight title match, champion Will Ospreay defeated Kyle Fletcher. Then on to back in the States, Extreme Intense Championship Wrestling from Pontiac, Michigan took place, where for the IXICW tag titles, Heath and Rhino defeated the fun-loving Criminals to become new champions. So yes, Heath and Rhino are tag champions in a promotion in Michigan. Who knew? Then for mask versus hair match of Mysterio Movado defeating Sam Beal. Now Sam Beal we heard on Warrior Wrestling the last day on the 26th, so sorry to see his haircut. It was kind of a nice little mullet going on there. Then they actually held their own War Games match with Aaron Orion, Isaiah Browner, Jack Price, and Tommy Vendetta defeating Adam Wick, Alex Weir, Dre Jacobs, and Malcolm Monroe III. Then on to New Jersey for Violence and Suffering Legends Never Die show. JTG defeated Tony Deppen. Calvin Tankman defeated Daniel Garcia by referee's decision. Eli Everfly defeated Smiley and TJ Crawford. Brian Cage defeated the unretired Leo Rush. Then Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Dylan McKay, Casey Navarro, and MV Young. So nice to see Pillman throwing out more matches there. Jordan Aller defeated Too Cold Scorpio. Yes, Too Cold Scorpio, one of the legends. Then Homicide defeated Matt Tremont. And Jimmy Lloyd defeated Sabu in a rather short match where I think Sabu called for the ending early due to another Sabu injury. Brody Percussion Wrestling in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the Lionheart 3-way title match. Champion Brian Dixon defeated Nathan Estrada and Samita. And for the Oklahoma title match, champion Derek James defeated Giganto. Then for Time Bomb Pro Wrestling 7, Time to Shine from Moorhead, Minnesota. In their Kaiju Grand Title 4-way match, champion American Beetle defeated Dr. Cube, Gummy Man, and Silver Potato. Steve Manners defeated Matthew Justice. AJ Gray defeated Foreman J. And in their Time Bomb title deathmatch, Oren Veit, who was champion, defeated Alex Colon. Rio Canadian Wrestling took place. Headlock of Horrors from Redway, Alberta, Canada. Their British Commonwealth title champion, KB6, defeated Ty Jackson. Their hardcore title match, champion Vince Austin defeated Danny Evans. And yeah, that's pretty much all from there. Then the Fight Memes Battle of Cocolo in Mexico. In their semifinal matches, Ariz defeated Cedico, and Black Taurus defeated Latigo. So in the finals, it was Ariz defeating Black Taurus. Then International Wrestling Revolution Group Festival of Mass took place with a 6-man tag of Dr. Wagner Jr., Dragonbane, and El Hijo del Canis Lupus defeating Demino Inferno, Fresero Jr., and Mascara Ano 2000 Jr. by DQ. Yeah, alright. And then finally, AAA Luchas, Auto Luchas, finally took place on Facebook, of all places. So check out AAA Wrestling Facebook page and probably their YouTube. I'm sure their matches are up. But La Parca Negra defeated Dinastia. Fabi Apache defeated Hades. Maximo and Mr. Iguana defeated Navarro Ponder del Norte of Cardo Bravo Jr. and Mocha Coda Jr. In their AAA World Cruiserweight title, champion Laredo Kid defeated Octagon Jr. Okay, and then Octagon Jr. defeated Tejano Jr. Sorry about that. Well, different Octagons. I'm pretty sure of it because I know I watched it. And then Pagano defeated Chessman and Psycho Clown. Pretty cool show. Check it out. Elevated stage and ring. So it could have got a hairy with that last match, but they stayed on the level and in their cars. Then move to October 5th. New Japan Pro Wrestling Climax Day 9 took place. Kota Ibushi defeated Will Ospreay. So you can't win them all, Will. All Japan Champion Carnival Day 6 took place, where Jake Lee and Koji Iwamoto defeated Tajiri. Oh, and Tajiri defeated Atsuki Aegi, Black Menso, and Taiko Omonuro. And for their Champion Carnival final match, Zeus defeated Kento Miyahara. So there you go. Then on to October 6th, and United Wrestling Network Primetime Live number 4. For the FSW Women's Title, champion Lacey Ryan defeated Viperous. Chris Dickinson defeated Max Caster. Excuse me. And then the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, and Watts defeated Effie and Ziggy Dice. So they're getting a bunch of people for that show, which is kind of cool. They have been alright to watch. You know, there's some not so great matches, and then it's some really nice matches. So they're doing what they can. New Japan Day 10 took place. Main event was Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Kenta. DDT had a show. Nothing of real importance there. October 7th, Day 11 of New Japan took place, where Shingo Takagi defeated Kota Ibushi in a mild upset, especially with their rankings. Then on to Limitless Wrestling, The Road number 11. And in the main event, it was the Limitless Wrestling World Title match, where champion Anthony Green defeated Ashley Vox in a very good match. In what was his final match for Limitless, he did a backstage promo with Ashley, giving her a lot of credit and being one of his best opponents ever, and she has a promising future. Then they showed yet another video with Anthony alone in the hall, saying his goodbyes to Limitless for whatever the future holds for him, leaving the title belt on the floor. So as this happened, the WWE put out their new Performance Center class, which included Anthony Green. So we all knew that was coming, just didn't know what day. And today, that Wednesday was the day. Then we head to Ice Ribbon's Peace Party number 57, where nothing really big took place there. DDT did another show. Then Create a Pro Wrestling Academy Finals Week on YouTube. Did not know there was any other weeks other than this. For their Create a Pro Tag Team titles, Brian Myers and Mark Sterling defeated Bobby Orlando and Bryce Donovan, and MJF was on the call. Check that out if you can. I know I had to do so myself. I completely forgot what was going on. Then we go to October 8th, New Japan Day 12. Evil defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. Actress Girls number 47 took place, with Sari defeating Miyuko Takashi. October 9th, WXW Shotgun 2.06 took place. For WXW tag titles. Fast Time Moto and Stephanie Mazzi, sorry about that, and defeated Maggot and Prince Ahura to become new tag champs. Then River City Championship Wrestling took place in Wisconsin. So Wisconsin actually held matches even during these trying times. For their heavyweight title, last man standing match, the Wanderer defeated champion Devlin Kane to become new champion. CMLL had another show with Bandito and Cristico defeating Gran Guerrero and Robert Casas. Then in the final New Japan Lions Break Project, Clark Connors defeated Danny Limelight to win the Crown Trophy. And then finally, at long last, WrestleMania weekend has arrived for the Indies with the Collective, which is 12 shows in 3 days. We begin with Jimmy Lloyd's D-Generation F from Indianapolis, Indiana, all at the Marion County Fairgrounds. 7-man scramble match. Braden Lee defeated Alex Ocean, Elena Black, Eli Isom, Griffin McCoy, Kung Fu Janela, and Sonico. In a wild 7-man match. I'm glad I didn't have to call it. Then in a 4-way tag match, Dylan McKay and Steve Sanders defeated Charlie Tiger and Alice Taylor, Cody Morden and David Morden, and Top Flight of Airwolf and Angel Dorado. Won't be the last time you hear these names. The One Call Manders defeated Logan Stunt. Trey Lamar defeated J.J. Garrett in a very good match. I'll call that one right there. Calvin Tankman defeated Cole Radrick. Jordan Oliver defeated Ace Austin. Yes, Ace actually lost a match. AJ Gray defeated Jimmy Lloyd. Blake Christian defeated Starboy Charlie. That was real cool. And then in a death match, Atticus Kogar defeated Kobe Carino in a nasty match. Next up was Southern Underground Pro, Swing of the Axe. For their SUP tag titles, champions Dominic Greeny and Kevin Koo defeated Cheech and Colin Delaney. AJ Gray defeated Nolan Edward. Alley Cat defeated Divine. Daniel Makabe defeated Lee Moriarty. O'Shea Edwards defeated Jake Something. Anthony Henry defeated Jaden Newman. Brett Eisen defeated Eric Stevens. For their SUP Bone Storm title, champion AC Mack defeated the One Call Manders. And then soon after, AJ Gray challenged AC Mack to become new champion in 40 seconds. Then on to Absolute Intense Wrestling Thunder in Indianapolis. 4-way match of Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham defeated Derek Dillinger. PB Smooth and Zach Thomas. Danhausen defeated Mordecai. Eric Stevens defeated Dominic Guarini. Eric Taylor and Mike Montgomery defeated Alley Cat and Levi Everett. In a 3-way match, Trey Lamar defeated Alex Shelley and Lee Moriarty. That was match of the night there. Mance Warner defeated Mr. Brickster. Tom Lawler defeated the Karate Man, Ethan Page, with the 5 fingers of doom to the knee. Just go with it, folks. Then an AIW tag title, best 2 out of 3 falls match. The Philly Marino Experience defeated champions to Infinity and Beyond to become new champions. And then in the AIW Absolute title and AIW Intense title, no rope barbed wire match, Joshua Bishop defeated champion Matthew Justice with the help of with Bill Alfonso in his corner to become new champion in a brutal match. And it looked like Fonzie broke his nose when Wes Barkley did a splash through a table on Fonzie, hitting him square right in the face with his elbow. So all the best to Fonzie. Hope he's okay. Then the final show of the night 1, Game Changer Wrestling for the Culture. this show was probably the best show of day one, all around, with Mike Outlaw defeating AC Mack, Mo Atlas, Timmy Lou Redden, and Zay Washington. JTG defeated Trey Miguel. Yes, that same JTG. In a three-way match, PB Smooth with Trey Lamar defeated Christian Casanova and Tasha Steeles. And Top Flight of Airwolf and Angel Dorado. For the Pan-African World Diaspora Wrestling title match, champion Trish Adora defeated Shug D. Calvin Tankman defeated O'Shea Edwards. And in a four-way match, Willow Nightingale defeated Devon Moore, Faye Jackson, and Marty Bell. AJ Gray defeated Desmond Xavier. Lee Moriarty defeated ACH, and that was a classic match for my viewing. And then AR Fox defeated Too Cold Scorpio. Night one, great job, guys. Collective, you were doing a great job. I'll get to the rest after this. Move to today of the 10th. Ice Ribbon 1074, where Homoko Hashi defeated Sasuke Totoro. DDT did a show number 9 for the DDT Universal title. Champion Chris Brooks defeated Naomi Ishimura. American Combat Wrestling and World Wrestling Network put on a show, taped and showed it today. New Year's Classic 2020. It's only taped a week ago, but I guess that's the new year. For the ACW Women's Title four-way match, champion Avery Taylor defeated Catalina Perez, Lexi Gomez, and Micah Madrid. Then on to earlier today, this morning at 10 a.m., Effie's Big Gay Brunch. So, yeah, I didn't see it live. I saw replays of this. So, Team C-Stars of Ashley Vox and Dummy Exo defeated AC Mack and Ashton Starr. Still Life with Apricots and Pears defeated Derek Sheik. The one called Manders, Mance Warner, Matthew Justice, and Levi Everett defeated Billy Dixon, Joshua Rivera, MV Young, and O'Shea Edwards. I don't know how Matthew Justice wrestled after that brutal match last night, but he did. Jamie Senegal defeated Alley Cat. Then Devin Monroe won a gauntlet match with Calvin Couture, Devin Monroe, Dylan McKay, Jared Evans, Jimmy Lloyd, Juicy Jimmy, Kit Osborne, Logan Stunt, Molly McCoy, Perro, Tony Deppen, and Tyler Klein. Marco Stunt defeated Effie. Marco took the place of Priscilla Kelly, who couldn't make it. And then Cassandra El Exotico defeated Sunny Kiss. Then on to a match that just ended. Glory Pro, are your wrestling son. Mike Outlaw defeated Lee Moriarty. The North of Ethan Page and Josh Alexander defeated Alex Zane and Blake Christian. So nice to see them back in action. For the Midwest Territory title, champion Hakeem Zane defeated Kylie Ray. For the IWTV Independent Wrestling title, champion Warhorse defeated Zachary Wentz. And somehow someone took the title. I don't know who. I missed what was going on. I'm going to try and watch the replay and see who stole the Warhorse's title. He was not happy, if you can guess that. In a bull rope match that really wasn't used the bull rope a lot, Jake Something defeated the one called Manders. The Sisters of Destruction, Blair Onyx and Elena Black defeated Hyan and Laney Luck. Then Devin Monroe defeated Jody Threat, Cody Lane, and Stephen Wolf. Then for the United Glory title two-way match, Top Flight of Airwolf and Angel Dorado defeated Danhausen and Effie, and Alley Cat and Dan the Dad to become new champions. At the end of the match, Blair Onyx and Elena Black came out with chairs and beat down Top Flight, and then took their titles. So it was just a take your title day, I guess. Can't wait to see what happens on Joey Janela Spring Break, which I am kind of missing the beginning of, and Freelance, which is later tonight around 10:59. And then finally, Crown of Glory title, champion AJ Gray defeated ACH. So that's a wrap for me. Till next time with the rest of the collective weekend and any news that come about. Don't forget to look up those Twitch streams and YouTube channels for other wrestling content. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut for this busy weekend of wrestling. Stay safe and take care and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Charlie, thank you as always for all your contributions to the show, for being my color man for the live broadcasts. Can't thank Charlie enough for everything that he does for the show and for his contributions every week. So let's keep rolling right along into the next segment of the show where I get to play kind of armchair promoter here, and I'm talking about the Fantasy Booker. Right, so we are continuing the little fantasy tournament that I set up, the faction tournament here that I started prior to the Warrior Wrestling Stadium series. So to give a little recap, first round matches we had were the Four Horsemen defeating the NWO, D-Generation X defeating the Brood, and the Hart Foundation defeating LIJ. And this week, still in first round action, we've got Raven's Nest. I'm talking about the original Raven's Nest, not Raven's Flock, not The Gathering, not any of that stuff. Raven's Nest from ECW, which was comprised of Raven, Stevie Richards, and the Pitbulls. And they are taking on the Fabulous Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Buddy Jack Roberts, and Jimmy Jam Garvin. Raven's Nest they were pretty much it when it came to ECW, and they were like one of the original factions. Them and the Triple Threat, kind of ran the show in ECW for the most part. But in this particular matchup, I gotta give the edge to the Fabulous Freebirds. I mean, they you look back at the WCCW days and the rivalry with the Freebirds and the Von Erichs, and it was just it's stuff of legend. I mean, how many years ago was that, and people still talk about it as one of the greatest rivalries in the history of the business. And that's not to discount the rivalry between Raven and Tommy Dreamer and stuff like that, but like I said, I have to give the edge to the Fabulous Freebirds in this one. So the Fabulous Freebirds will be moving on to the second round of the CHS faction tournament. All right, and getting into my last segment of the show here, where I espouse a little bit of an unpopular opinion most of the time. I am talking about the weekly hot take. So this week's hot take: heel Roman Reigns is the top guy in WWE right now. And I don't care what anybody else says. Roman as a heel, the way he is right now, especially with Paul Heyman in his corner, this is the Roman that we should have been seeing for years, honestly. It works. He seems more comfortable in this role. It seems more natural for him. I would dare say, Roman Reigns, I think, is a natural heel. He just seemed more comfortable as a heel when the Shield first came in, and he seems more comfortable now as a heel. The heel champion with Paul Heyman, the mouthpiece. He doesn't have to talk a whole lot himself. He's got the best talker in the business in his corner, which is definitely a plus for him. I'm not saying Roman's a bad talker. He's not. But he's not Paul Heyman. And I don't think anybody would argue that point. So the heel turn for Roman is long overdue, and there's a lot of rumors about there being a slow build to build a faction around him, and if this is done right, it will dominate the WWE. Now, what they're going to call it, I don't know. The grouping of Roman with the Usos was always referred to as the Bloodline. I don't know if they'll keep that name. Roman now calling himself the Tribal Chief. I could see them, calling the faction the Tribe or something along those lines. But I think obviously the first members of this faction are probably going to be the Usos. That's going to happen one way or another. The Usos are going to be a part of this faction with Roman Reigns. I could see potentially Samoa Joe being involved in this storyline, either with or against Roman and the Usos. I think either way, I think would make for some pretty good stories. So I'm actually really excited to see where they're going to go with this Roman Reigns storyline, because, I mean, it's already thrust Jey Uso into a main event spot, which I don't think anybody saw coming, but he's taken the ball and he's ran with it. He's done very well in that spot so far, and he's got another main event match at one of the premier pay-per-views for WWE at Hell in a Cell. So this storyline doing great things for Jey Uso. Hopefully when Jimmy Uso is cleared to come back, he's able to kind of step right in and be just as big of a part of it. So we'll have to see where it goes, but that's my thoughts on it. It's going to be Roman, it's going to be the Usos. I could potentially see Samoa Joe being part of it, like I said, either with Roman or against Roman. Either way, I think it would work. And, that faction is going to run roughshod over Smackdown if it's done right. Like I said, they're supposed to be doing like a slow build for this, which is good. Don't rush it. Don't just thrust these guys together. Let it build up. Make it make sense. That's the biggest thing. Make it make sense. And I think it's going to be a fantastic storyline if people will just sit back and let it play out. Don't jump right to the end. Don't think what's going to happen. Sit back, let it play out, enjoy the ride. That's what I keep telling everybody who is such a big critic of everything in pro wrestling and wants to just make assumptions just based on one thing that happens on television. Sit back and enjoy the ride, okay? So, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this week. Once again, I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and brand new now on Amazon Music. Tell Alexa to play Catch Hook and Shoot for you. You won't be sorry. And make sure you're following on social media at Catch Hook Shoot on all platforms. Patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for bonus content if I ever get it put up there. ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for all your t-shirt needs. And CatchHookShoot.BigCartel.com is our other web store for t-shirts and hats that you won't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. Send all your emails to catchhookshoot@gmail.com. Again, thank you to everybody who checked out the Warrior Wrestling Stadium series, whether you listened live or you listened to it later on. They were like I said, our most downloaded shows in the first week ever, and I can't thank you guys enough for enjoying the show and for checking it out. And I was, like I said, I was planning on taking the entire month of October off after the Stadium series, but with the response I got, I couldn't do it. I had to keep riding the wave and going with the momentum. So again, I appreciate everybody so much for listening, for downloading, for for following on social media and everything. I can't thank you guys enough. Like I said, I'm gonna look into trying to do some more live stuff because you guys seem to like that a lot. So we'll see what happens. But until then, again, thank you to everybody. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the wrestling coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.